Carol Flagg, live from Chicago at HIMSS15. With me right now is Ahier from the City Intelligent Company. Brian, how are you today?
I'm very good. Good to see you, Carol.
How's things treating you?
I love HIMSS.
I know.
It's one of my, it's sort of the high point of the year for me. This is like the Super Bowl of health IT. And I'm here with my closest 40,000 friends and staying very busy.
Yeah.
It's a busy week.
Well, and HITECH Answer is obviously we've known you for many years, so I don't know if you're friends, but we're sort of,
Absolutely.
yeah, okay, all right, I like that. We follow each other on Twitter anyway.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to ask you.
And we have a webinar coming up.
We do have a
with,
webinar coming
famous
up.
Jim Tate.
Jim Tate on MU Stage 3 for hospitals.
Yes. So
Don't
put a
miss
little
that.
plug in there.
I'm going to ask you a couple questions and get your insight and your perspective, which we love to hear. So first and foremost, obviously interoperability is everybody's talking about it right now with the release of the proposed rules for Stage 3 MU. How would you generalize the overall progress health IT has made towards interoperability? You've been in the States for a long time, and I'm sure you have some insight on that.
Well, we've made actually I think we've made quite a bit of progress towards interoperability. Maybe not to the specific objectives and measures of a regulatory program or something, but true interoperability is actually a reality today. And you hear so much bashing about interoperability and how hard it is and how the problems, and there's information blocking, the report that ONC just produced for Congress, and there's a lot of naysayers out there. I'm very optimistic, both about how far we've come, but I'm also very optimistic about the future. I think with new and emerging standards like FHIR, with work that we're doing with the Argonauts, Medici has joined the Argonauts, and we've actually had lots of success. And we're a prime example of the success of interoperability. We have billions of transactions. We connect over 250 different EMR systems, and there's data being exchanged all over the country on the network. And so I think the state of the union is good.
It's worth noting that we actually did a webinar a couple months ago about FHIR, just for the benefit of our audience. Just give a 30-second review about FHIR, and it's
sure. I'll just very quickly. FHIR is basically moving us away from a document-centric approach to transactions to a data-centric approach. So rather than sharing a consolidated CDA document, a big C32 document, you're just sharing, giving access through the API to specific data elements, very granular access.
You can find a recording of that webinar on the Medici website. Yeah, great. All right, that's worth looking at. Pop health, like interoperability, is obviously another big topic here again. Same sort of question. How would you describe the progress we've made as an industry in integration with pop health?
Sure, and I can use that then to segue into what we're doing around
That would be
population
awesome.
health,
Yeah.
because so I think it's nascent. So we are making progress in population health as an industry. Right? I mean, you go all over the exhibit hall floor, and everybody's now a population health company. Rubbermaid has got a population health solution.
Everybody has one.
Right. So, but true population health management is it's not just flip a switch. Right? So there is an IT infrastructure that supports population health, starting with the data. Right? So we obviously, for a long time, Medici has had very strong HIE capabilities. But that's just the start. That's not the end game. So now we've begun to aggregate data at a community level. And you can do interesting things with these data and apply population health management tools and analytics capabilities to this river of data that we have flowing in the networks. And not only that, but to be able, we have other companies, and Lauren can probably speak to this better than me, but HDMS is a sister company within HealthAgen that is one of the top claims analytics companies. And so we're finally starting to have the ability now to marry claims and clinical data in new and interesting ways together to do some really cool analytics and population health management tools.
And that's today.
And that's today. Yeah. So where we're going with that?
Yeah, what's the future of pop health? Yeah,
what the future is?
Yeah.
Another aspect of population health and succeeding in this area, I think, is patient engagement. Sure. And so, iTriage is another sister company of ours, and a great mobile health application, over 14 million downloads. And so to be able to empower patients with information, with their own data, information is power, and And so empowering patients with information is a really key enabler for succeeding in population health.
So just a few weeks prior to HIMSS, stage 3 requirements, the proposed rules were released. So you're a stage 3 expert. I think everybody would agree with me. How is stage 3 going to help drive ability, sort of that linchpin of this whole process of health information?
And that's ultimately, I think, the goal of the program. Right? Sure. Now, there's challenges to that, and so, without making this an hour-long lecture series on meaningful
we can
use,
do that though.
The stage 3 proposed rules that are out, which we expect probably a good 90% of those rules are going to make it into the final regs. So we'll see what makes it into the final regs. But there's the 8 objectives, and the 2 that we're most focusing on right now are the patient engagement objectives, the patient access objectives, and the HIE. Actually, it's 3, but it's really 2 areas for us. It's patient engagement and clinician engagement. It's HIE and patient engagement objectives and corresponding measures are the ones we're really focusing on. It's tightly mapped to the certification requirements too. But the interesting thing, because meaningful use is not one rule from one agency, it's 2 rules from 2 agencies. It's CMS in stage 3 and it's ONC and certification. And the certification program has 68 criteria, and only 36 of them apply to meaningful use. So they're obviously wanting to go beyond meaningful use, right? We're going to now move into other care settings and other opportunities for certified health IT to play a role. And so that's we don't have tons of time right now because we're all very busy at HIMSS. Wish you were here. And so, I think though that ultimately the way I try to view the Meaningful Use program is not that it's an end unto itself, but it's means to an end. And hopefully that end is population health, right? It's improving outcomes, lowering costs, improving the patient experience.
Speaking of sort of an end game, obviously another big topic here, probably the biggest, is this move from fee-for-service to value-based medicine. Everybody's sort of talking about that. And this new acronym on my radar, MIPS, Merit Incentive Payment Systems? Yeah, is that right? Okay. Yeah. So MIPS is the new acronym. So everybody's sort of talking about how all these programs will be married in 2019 for providers. How do merit incentive-based programs provide and move health IT along?
Well, think about it like this. If we move towards from quantity of care to paying for quality of care, move away from quantity of care, then what are you paying based on? You're paying based on value instead of volume. It's merit-based incentive. Right? So when you think about a merit-based incentive payment system, and just general, maybe not specifically any particular rule, regulation, or law, but just in general, merit-based incentive payment systems and the structure that would be, you would be paying for value instead of volume. You'd be moving towards paying for quality. The CMS just recently announced that they were going to move so many of their, eventually, ultimately, everything into value-based contracting. Our company, Aetna, is doing the same thing. We're actually even being more aggressive. Value-based contracting is the future. And so to have a payment mechanism that pays based on merit or quality of care, I think it's a good thing. And we're saying, again, back to my original point though, if you're going to succeed and thrive in this new healthcare environment where you're being paid for quality instead of quantity, there's an IT infrastructure that supports that. And that's where the key is. It's not so much check the box, I got this, I got that, I got that. It's what can I do to drive improvements in care that are going to allow me to succeed in a value-based world.
Any final thoughts about trends here at HIMSS15 or what's going to be coming down the pipe maybe next year at HIMSS
Well,
in Vegas?
I think next year in Vegas we'll be talking more about MIPS and less about meaningful use.
We'll be talking more about MIPS.
We'll be continuing to talk about population health and maybe getting a little more focused and clarity. Right now it's sort of a buzzword on the exhibit hall floor. It's sort of like, the unicorn. Everybody knows what population health is, but nobody's actually seen it, right? We've seen it. we're doing it, and I'm looking forward to seeing what this next year brings.
Brian, thank you so much for your time and your insight. We appreciate it.